Emmanuel Acho seems to feel very strongly about Kyle Shanahan, that he is effectively on the hot seat after firing multiple coaches and going 6-11 on the year. Now, for San Francisco 49er fans, we're kind of in a stage of feeling hope and feeling a sense of joy, of understanding that the 49ers are making changes, and changes are coming, and we understand it was a down year, but Emmanuel Acho wants to take that joy away. So let's take a listen to what he has to say, why he's saying it, and it's actually a good conversation because we hear from all four on the panel, and they provide their context, and of course, I have thoughts on the other side as well. Take a listen to what Emmanuel Acho has got to say right here.
Let me be real about the Niners, man. Shanahan, his seat, it is officially hot. Oh, it's officially hot. You just fired your special teams coach. You just fired your defensive coordinator. You would fire your offensive coordinator, but you are the offensive coordinator. Shanahan, now you got to get it right. See, last offseason, I suggest you got it all wrong. Should have paid Trent Williams sooner. Y'all didn't. Should have paid Brandon Ayuk sooner. Y'all didn't. So I would suggest that you did it all wrong last offseason. I would also go as far as to suggest you wasted a year of Fred Warner's life. You wasted a year of Nick Bosa's life. You wasted a year of Charvarius Ward's life. You wasted a year of Demo's life because you hired a defensive coordinator that was not suited for the job. You hired your friend. You wasted a year because of cronyism, someone benefiting from friendship with you. Because Steve Wilks had the number 2 defense in football with the Niners, and you fired him. Hired Nick Sorensen, promoted him from within. He had a 25th or 23rd defense for the Niners, and you said, I'm not going to fire him. You're going to find another position for him within the organization. So because of friendship, you wasted a whole year of the Niners' life. So yeah, Shanahan, that seat is hot. You didn't hire Sorensen because he was qualified. You hired him because he was your homie. And now you lost the whole season because he was your homie. Of course, that seat got to heat up 2-5.
And that was good, but come on, man. Nobody, even the year they had this year, nobody once questioned if Kyle Shanahan will be there next year.
No.
He's so good. Everywhere he goes, he wins. And this league is hard, right? Like, that's why I always argue for the superstar players, because just imagine every year people expect you to be a superstar and win every single year, and it's not easy to do. So I think Kyle Shanahan had a bad season, right? We all are acceptable to having those, right? Because he has win. They draft pretty well. I think next year we'll see the same Niners. We'll see one of the top teams in the NFC. They had a bad year this year. I think bad coaching was some of that. That's why he's making some moves. I think injuries, right? And I think the mismanagement with the contracts and the front office.
No doubt.
All them things is all in one. I think next year they'll take things a little bit more serious. Because sometimes you get a little cocky, you get a little conceited. Like, hey, man, I'm nice.
Yeah.
I win.
No doubt.
I've been there like, yo, I train hard, but maybe this year I gave up 1,300 yards. Man, come on, man, I can give it a year off. No, then I have a bad season, then I get back to the drawing board. So Kyle Shanahan is never going to be on a hot seat.
No, I agree. I don't think he's on a hot seat at all. It's not officially hot. It's cold. I think he's still one of the best.
Cold?
Yeah, dude, I think he's still one of the best coaches out there. And now, I will agree, this mismanagement of the defensive coordinator hiring, and I was on it early with Nick Sorensen, because that Niners defense did not look the same all year. There's 2 names out there, Lou Anarumo and Robert Saleh, that make sense. If you get that right, if you hit this defensive coordinator hire outside the park and hit a home run, I think he's going to be just fine. Because let's be real, like, even though how hurt they were and how much off-field stuff, guys getting shot, unfortunately some guys lost kids, which is unspeakable. Like, all the stuff outside of the field really snowballed. The Super Bowl hangover was real, but they still finished 13th in points per game, 4th in total yards, 4th in passing yards per game. They still have that elite offense. It's that defense where they allowed a ton of points in the red zone specifically. I think you get a guy who you know can do it. Seat remains cold because ain't no one doing the job that Kyle Shanahan did. We forget he's been to 2 Super Bowls, some NFC championship games. I just don't think any world it's hot right now.
It's crazy, man. My answer is no. But AJ, he did a really good job at prepping me on this right here, because I'm looking at this. He really should have got the Mayo and AP treatment. 6-10, 4-12 first 2 years. He shouldn't even be the head coach right now, to be honest with you. But I'm looking at this in 8 seasons, 4 losing seasons, 4 winning seasons. I didn't know that. I thought he was doing like way better than that, honestly. True story. But the main thing is you've been to 2 Super Bowls And obviously that means 2 NFC championship games. So you've proven you can get there. So my answer is no, because recently he's win, and been to NFC championships and Super Bowl games, and we know the type of offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan is. So I'm going to say no. But in 2025, you said cold. I don't know if the seat going into 2025 is cold.
That's where I'm at.
It's warm.
That's where I'm at.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you come out here and you have another losing season in 2025, are you the dude that's going to take us there and get us over the hump? I don't know.
Losing seasons, but they were awful the first 2 years. The second year, but they had Nick Mullins. And how many quarterbacks they have in 2020?
That's a lot of coaches get fired with bad quarterbacks. Is what I'm saying. They not do good with bad quarterbacks.
Are we really? We're really talking.
What you saying?
Arguing if Kyle Shanahan,
really talking about this,
the head coach of the Niners,
come on,
can potentially be fired the next 2 years. They don't play well. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so I think he'll be on the hot seat.
One of my favorite things towards the end of it was when James Jones was saying that Kyle Shanahan should have been fired already. He should have never gotten this far. And then I think it was Chase Daniels who's like, well, dude, the context because literally Kyle took over one of the worst rosters in football, then gutted that roster and had Brian Hoyer as your quarterback. Was it Sean Drones? Was he the running back? Alfred Morris, Pierre Garçon at wide receiver. And James Jones goes, context. Does context matter now? And to me, that little back and forth perfectly encapsulates the state of sports talk. Is there are two kinds of people who talk about sports. People who just grasp at surface level things and just say surface level takes. And then there are other people who absolutely uphold the context in the highest regard and then create opinions off of the context, off of the reality of situations, rather than just saying, well, did you see his record the first 2 years? And it's like the second year they lost their quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, 2.5 games in with an ACL injury. And it seemed to change the outcome of the team quite a bit. But I guess, in the third year, right, when the quarterback was healthy, they go 13-3 and go to the Super Bowl. But that context just doesn't fit my narrative. So we can't talk about that. But again, at the end of the day, it's like there are points to be made, I think, on all sides. We can all agree that Kyle Shanahan this year, I wasn't impressed with Kyle. I wasn't impressed with his scheme this year. Felt like defensive coordinators knew exactly what he was trying to do. I talk about it all the time. The 49ers protection schemes got exposed week in and week out and constantly put Kyle's scheme and Brock Purdy at an extreme disadvantage. Constantly scheming up free rushers, only rushing 4. I've never seen anything like it in my life, how consistently that occurred. And, that Kyle takes responsibility for that, I believe. Do I think Kyle was perfect this year? No. Do I think that Kyle deserves a lot of the blame for what had occurred this year? Of course, he's the head coach and he's the head guy in charge. So all of those things being true, I think it also shows that, there are other things. There's actual context to be applied, because he's firing coaches because it's just not working out. Like, they fired Steve Wilkes coming off a Super Bowl because it wasn't working out. And at that point, when you fire a coach after the Super Bowl, all the coaches have been hired. There are no options left. And so what else did he have to do? He tried to reach out to Belichick. He tried to do those things. Who knows who else he reached out to? So you land on an internal hire. That doesn't work out. All right. Well, now you have an actual cycle to go through where you're not in the playoffs and you can actually go after one of the top DC candidates. So that is an important context to recall. But again, this whole idea that he's on the hot seat, I wouldn't say he's on the hot seat, but I would say if next year goes very similar to this year, then I would say we will absolutely have conversations about Kyle Shanahan and his future with the team, because if they can't get it back on track after next season, yeah, that we're gonna have some conversations about that. But to say he's on the hot seat right now, I disagree. I think, just like they're saying, his seat is very cold. But if it falls apart again and you start to see things that can absolutely be tied back to Kyle, then we'll have those conversations. But right now, I don't agree. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.